I make sure to do is not to really add complexity, but keep things very lean and simple, exactly like you taught us in the program.
What would you tell that person that was in your same exact situation, 6-ish months ago? What would you tell them now?
The person that's gonna get those results is a completely different person than the person that's I am right now. It's so important for me at this stage to really choose the people that I work with, because I put my heart and soul into building the product and providing a lot of custom work and being close to clients.
Saif, thanks for coming on, bro. It's been ever since you hopped into VCA, which is our flagship program. You've been like, dude, I want to be on one of these case study videos. So it's good to finally have you on here, bro.
Absolutely. I promised myself to do it like literally the first day that I joined, and I'm fulfilling my promise now. So
Oh yeah,
that's a really
brother.
good achievement, I guess.
Well, dude, I would love to. Obviously, we'll dive into the journey, and then once we kind of hear the story, we'll kind of like pick and prod some certain questions and stuff. But let's just like hear a broad overview of the journey, from maybe like 6 months ago when we started working together. What did you have going on then? And then ever since you've gone through the last 6 months, it seems like it's been a pretty significant like difference between 6 months ago and right now.
Absolutely.
So maybe give like a
Yeah.
broad overview of the story.
All right. So I did just a little bit of a context. I did 6 years in conference face-to-face sales. I was pretty good at it. I was selling companies for an exit. And I really liked that, but I felt like I was destined for more, the usual entrepreneurship mindset. I
Yeah,
was
yeah.
always thought that I can do more. So I started learning about this online stuff. I didn't believe it at first, I felt like this is just too good to be true.
Yeah.
And the first contact of me into the online space was being an appointment setter. And in my luck, I worked with Serge Guattari, so clientacquisition.io. And that was my first experience head on. So I worked as an appointment setter,
Mm-hmm.
and I was handling most of the front end conversion for his
And
account.
were you like an SDR, MDR? Are you doing cold outbound? Are you doing like inbound leads or?
So a bit of mixture. So there's cold, and then I moved into warm and literally handling his personal accounts. And at that point, I jumped to being a closer, and I started closing some offers inside of his company and different companies. And then I got into the fulfillment and working closely with coaches. And I soon realized, guess what? I actually know how to consult and help coaches. I understand how to really structure things and scale offers. And I found a lot of love into it. I didn't really want to attach myself into sales alone. So I went into the usual, let me try and see how can I personally help the coaches. Uh, so I moved from working with people to pushing my own offer. And I did that for 4 months. And I had some really, really good results. I was doing Facebook groups, the old usual things that most
Yeah.
coaches do. And I was the old, offer technical of like maybe a mixture of done with you, done for you, still having everything not in place. So I still don't have a structure. I just know how to get people results. And I know
Yep.
how to get people on the call and sell people and market properly. And that's where it really all started. So I did get the 15K, and then things were pretty much inconsistent. And then I looked at your content, looked at everything what you're doing. And I don't know, like if you remember, I said this in one of our calls, in our group calls, and I said something about you and about your content spoke to me. And for some reason, I felt like Grayson is the person that will understand how to help me the most. It's not about case studies, testimonials, none of that. It just felt like
Yeah.
I'm married, he's married. He's building the kind of business that he enjoys building. That's exactly what I wanted to do. So you know what? I'm gonna go with him, and that's what got me into the program.
Sweet, bro. Okay, so you signed up. You actually sold via chat. So I think I sent you like a payment
Yeah,
link via Instagram DMs. You sold, came in. Um, I will say like the first, I don't know, maybe like 2 months were kind of rough. And then eventually you had a point where like you were like, it's hard, it's hard. I'm learning things, I'm trying things, this isn't going well. And then you had a point where you broke through. Um,
yeah,
Walk through like the 6 month journey of actually going through, because I think most people think you sign up for a program and then boom, all your problems are solved. When in reality, when you sign up for anything, like that's just the beginning, right? Like that's the beginning of a long journey. So walk through like the last 6 months. What did that look like from like month one to month two, month three?
So like when I came in, like you said, I closed in the DMs. I tried to be my perfect prospect. It's a motto that I live with. But
Yeah.
when I came in, I didn't have the expectation of blowing things out of the proportion
Hmm.
immediately. I was looking at it as like this is a 6 months program. It's something that's it's gonna get me closer to my destination and closer to building the thing that I love and that I want. And I was pretty sure that you had the support inside of that program and also inside of the community that would get me closer to my destination. That was the only thing that I was looking at. So my expectations were really, really in place. And when I came through, I had, I didn't have really a lot of consistency within the cash flow. And keep in mind that if we're talking about the social funnel, you know, you see significant results when you push ads, right? And I felt in love with the process, with the entire system and the funnel, which is why I personally have it as one of my deliverables and what I teach my clients as well. So at that time, I didn't really have much money to put on ads. So I wasn't really seeing any type of significant results immediately, which again, it was expected. However, the first couple of months were basically me trying to build the foundation of content. So me building the profile, the offer, the messaging, especially the messaging, which I had no idea how important it was at the time. You kept saying is important. I kept ignoring until I came back to what you were saying at the beginning. But
Hey, it's the
and
same thing everybody does, bro. It's like you hear the advice, and I do the same thing with people that are like my mentors. I'm like, yeah, but like let me do it my own way first. And then you always like 99% of the time, you always go back and you're like, you know what? Fine. I tried on my own, it didn't work. Let me go finally do what they said. So
that's exactly what happened to me. I was like,
yeah.
let me try and break through with the organic. And to my surprise, I just focused on the basics of the fundamentals and the things that makes people buy, which, as you know, the things that makes people buy is your solution. And what makes your idea or your solution better and more unique than anybody else. It's not just about the brand, it's not just about the story. It's why would your offer make a big difference in my life and my business or whatever it is that you're coaching on, rather than the next person that is literally selling the exact same thing. So I focused on that and I literally jumped within the month, third month, I jumped from nothing to literally like 12K with 4 clients right off the bat, just because of
Then
messaging focus.
which month was it?
Probably the third month.
Okay, so the third month you went from like zero the previous month to 12. Was that 12K cash or 12K like contracted or?
No, 12K cash and around 15K in contracts.
Okay, cool. Sweet. So that was month three. And
Yeah.
then you started building momentum from there.
Yeah, I started building momentum, but again, I was trying to figure this out organically. I wasn't pushing too hard on ads yet,
Mhm.
and the results were like up and down, not that consistent as I wanted them to.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't focus on the things that actually matters the most. But the next month, I was like, you know what? Let me try and push some ads. And I saw some, again, significant results, which literally blew up the entire business. And I went from 4 clients up to 8 clients very, very quickly. And I wasn't even spending that much on ads. I was doing literally around $10 to $20 a day. And I
Which is
have the,
insane.
which is
If you guys,
insane.
I always see, I always see not a lot of people, like a lot of people, like when they post wins in our community and stuff, they'll post like, oh, I just contracted this much. But you always, what I appreciate about when you post it is you always post the ad spend and then you post cash collected and you put your ROAS. Your
Yeah.
ROAS is like 40 or something insane because you
Yeah.
spend like $700 on ads in a month and you make like 20K. So
Yeah. Which
it's
is
insane.
which is again the reason for that is because a business is a pipeline. So what I make sure to do is not to really add complexity, but keep things very lean and simple, exactly like you taught us in the program. And I just do a little bit more efforts in trying to be very efficient with the message, with the offer, with the idea, and making sure every lead that comes through is really getting the sales conversation and just moving them closer with the sales process and just following the funnel in its simplicity, but also staying consistent with it. So that was a really big difference. Also, what made a big difference is YouTube videos. Now, a lot of people that are watching this would really understand how important YouTube is. YouTube is what got me to be inside your program. YouTube is what got most of my clients to be in my program. YouTube is literally it's, it's like a secret, a secret that
Yeah.
is no secret. If you
It's a
just put
secret
in the
that ain't no
work.
secret, bro. But like, and people might look at even my channel. Like, I have a relatively very small channel, right? Or people might even look at like they might watch this and be like, oh, let me, I'm interested in safe stuff. I'm go check it out. And it doesn't have like neither of us get an insane amount of reach. But if you can use paid ads to get attention and then just squeeze the juice out of the funnel by using content like this on YouTube,
Exactly.
that's how you be as efficient as possible with your pipeline.
Yeah, you're being specific with your prospects because your message is directed to a dream client that you know that you can serve the best. So your message will continue to remain to be towards those people. So even if you get like 20, 50 views on a video like I do, it's not that significant, but I'm closing a client out of that. You know, so that's the
Yep.
difference. um and yeah, so the last couple of months of the program were the best, I guess. I went from 12 to literally 50K in sales, around 46K to be specific in sales, and 30K plus in cash. That came from literally in the same 4 weeks, 4 week period. And again, I wasn't even spending more than $700 in total to really get this outcome, which is insane.
It's insane, bro. Okay, so let's well, we can get into tactics in a second. What do you think changed, like just you as a human being? Like, do you what specifically shifted in your head? Maybe it was something I said, maybe it was something that you just like went through and realized by yourself. What shifted going from like 12K is, I mean, that's no small number. Like it's still you're making more than 90% of the people in the world, but like from 12K to 50K, it's a pretty significant difference. Like
Yeah.
what changed or what shifted for you?
I'm gonna say something that my old version of myself will find extremely cliche, but
Okay.
for anyone that's watching will understand this very well. It's personal leadership. So when I wasn't seeing the results, I was blaming everything on either I don't know what the strategy is, or maybe I'm missing on something. And I was one of those people that makes sure that he knows all of the information in all of the entire space. So I need to make sure what everybody is doing. And that was a disease. That was what was stopping me from, instead of focusing too much on the information, how about I actually take the action and learn throughout the journey and understand what I'm doing wrong and who am I serving the best. So personal leadership. When I watch you jump on a group call with 20 plus people and you're chilled about it and you know exactly the confidence behind what you do and what you say, that helped me understand, okay, the person that's going to get those results is a completely different person than the person that's I am right now. So that growth came within and also came and reflected on my content, reflected on my strategy, reflected on what I was saying to the world. So the idea or my message came out differently because they were coming out from a person with confidence, because I've seen the results. I've seen it work. When you see something work, you don't stop. You continue doing the thing, even when you're not seeing anything. And that's the value of the community. That's the value of a program and the support you
Yeah.
get around it. If that makes
Yeah, and
sense.
I think one thing that I appreciate about when you went through is that like a lot of people would have given up at like because you as soon as you sign up for really anything, whenever I sign up for when I want to learn something or implement something new, you sign up and you get all this new information pretty quickly. Now, some of it you kind of already knew, but some of it was maybe new. And but now the difference is you're actually going to do it because you paid for it, right? And so you pay for it, you learn this stuff, and you're like, oh wow, this is okay, this is it. Like I'm going to implement this stuff. I just got access to it. And so you're like you're optimistic, but you don't know what you're getting yourself into, right? So you're I can't remember what they call it. It's like um uh you know delusion to optimism basically. And then you actually start taking action. You actually start running the ads. You start setting the appointments. You start closing a couple clients. And then you realize how freaking hard it's going to be, right? And so then you start off really strong, you're excited about it, but then you get in this like this drought, right? Of like that was kind of probably where you're at like month two, where you're like, this is really hard. And I don't know if this is going to work or not. I'm putting in all this work every single day. I'm showing up, I'm doing it, and it's not working yet. But then eventually you get past that point where it's hard. Like for me, trying to set up a, this new funnel we just set up, this VSL funnel. Like I get all this information. I'm like, oh, I have access to all the information. It's going to be so simple. It's going to be so easy. Like it's just right there. I can just copy and paste it, just like you probably did with our stuff. And then eventually you're like, holy crap, this is actually way harder than I thought. Then you push through that and you get to a point where you now have informed optimism, where you had like uninformed optimism, you had informed pessimism, and then you finally get to a point where you have informed
Exactly.
optimism and you know what you're doing. So I feel like that's kind of where you're at right now is like you know what you're doing, and you also know, and you're also optimistic about what you're doing, right?
Yeah, I think the biggest lesson that I've personally learned, and what I also try to do my best to keep teaching to everybody else, and any, like if you go into my content and my brand, I really try my best to make sure that I'm consistent with one message, which is it's not easy, but it can be simple. You don't need to add complexity, but if you master it, then it's really simple for you to do the thing until you get to be really, really good at what you do. And then later on, it can start being easy because you know what to do. If that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, 100%, dude. Okay, so last couple months have been great. Um, what does the future for Safe look like? Like what is what are you optimizing for in this next season of your life? Are you trying to scale to 1 million a year? You're close to it. You're halfway there. Are you trying to get to like the 1 million a year mark? Are you trying to get to 10 million a year? Are you trying to kind of cruise? Like what are you currently optimizing for? Like what's the next big goal?
If we're talking about revenue goals, money goals,
Just like and goals in general. Yeah.
so we'll start we'll start with the money. So money wise, it's definitely 1 million a year, 1 million to 2 million a year, in profit, like very lean team. Probably myself, a virtual assistant, an appointment setter, uh, maybe later down the road, a content manager to really handle the content and the ideas and the process. Um, so the non-revenue goals are choosing who I work with, which we've spoken about this before the call. It's so important for me at this stage to really choose the people that I work with because I put my heart and soul into building the product and providing a lot of custom work and being close to clients. So, like it's really good to have a client that not only respects your time but takes what you say and they implement it and
Yep.
they end up seeing the results because I literally had a client that go from 2K to 54K in cash collected in less than 4 weeks with everything that I teach. So what I teach is solid. The information is there. It's just the experience and access to me is basically what's so important right now and who I choose to work with. And I'm married as well, like you know? So enjoying a little bit of a quality time with a wife, probably have a kid pretty soon and just building the business around what you do in life. Like you work
Yeah.
because you want to, it's not because you have to. And I wouldn't forget the impact. I truly, truly feel like the coaching part and you helping the people, it just gives you such fulfillment. Like this is the only thing why I choose coaching over anything else. Hopefully that answered your question.
Yeah, for sure. So you're optimizing for working people you want to work with, but also shooting for a million a year in profit. And you have a unique way, or kind of like you have unique constraints in the situation of how you're going to get there, like selling via chat, no
Exactly.
sales calls, all that stuff. I love it, dude. In terms of like, how do you feel like that I know you said like personal leadership, like how do you think that the way that you think has changed from 6 months ago to now? Like how do you think now? Is there any ways that you would say you think differently in terms of how you
Yes.
approach business?
Yes. Um, there is a bit of a shift that you have as an entrepreneur. And this shift comes down from the fact that you just decide to make it work. And even if you don't know how to make it work, you'll make it work.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. So that's the shift that took place in my head. There is no giving up and there is no stopping. If you have a big goal and something to achieve, then you will make it work.
Yeah, I think one of the things that
That's
you and I were talking about the other day was, what are you willing to what are you willing to sacrifice? And I can't remember who said this, but I agree with it 100%. Is that most people want to say like, "What's your goal?" And they'll say, "Well, I want to be the best. I want to be number one. I want to be the biggest in our industry." And you have to be willing to sacrifice more than everybody in order to achieve that. And what most people are unwilling to admit, even though it would be a much healthier goal for them, is that you don't want to be the best. You probably just want to be really good, right? Like you want to be really good and you want to like live the life you want to live, right? In order to be the best by definition, like you've got people that are really good and you've got people that literally sacrifice their entire lives to have what they have, which is the best. And I will say that I am really good at what I do. But I'm not willing to sacrifice certain things. I'm not willing to sacrifice time with my wife, just like you probably aren't. I'm not willing to sacrifice time with family. I'm not willing to sacrifice having a large family. Um, I'm not willing. There's a lot of things that I'm not willing to sacrifice, which probably means that I probably won't make the most money in the world, right? Because the person that's there is willing to
which is
sacrifice
okay.
way more than me,
M-
and it's
Like
perfectly fine, you know.
it's
That was one of
okay.
the things that
Money
we
is
were
not
talking about.
everything, I think.
Yeah, it's like what are you willing to sacrifice? Say, like that was kind of the question I was asking you yesterday. Have you had time to think about that and kind of how, like write some things down in terms of what are you willing to sacrifice in this season?
I am definitely not willing to sacrifice quality time with my wife, just same as you. Like having a person and a partner with you that's been there from the day that you had nothing until the day that you've built and you've gotten to the point where you can say to a certain degree, I'm successful in my own eyes. It's a good thing to protect. So for me, protecting that is really important to me. Um, Also, I'm protecting my time and my boundaries, and I'm not going to um, mess with that for any client or any money while still providing as much value as I can and changing as many lives as I can.
I love it, bro. Um, Dude, what would you tell somebody who is in the position that you were in 5, 6 months ago, and they're maybe at a point where they have skills, they probably are, capable or like semi-capable of like going and launching a consultancy or whatever you want to call it. Um, what would you tell that person that was in your same exact situation, 6-ish months ago? What would you tell them now?
I would tell them, ask yourself two questions. The first, do you think Grayson is the person for you that's going to help provide the clarity and the guidance? And is he a person that you look up to, that you can actually put in the work and believe in what he tells you? If that's a yes, then this program and working with Grayson is the right place for you. And the second, do you think that this program would get you even a step closer to your goal? If yes, then there's absolutely no reason to hesitate or think twice before being closed in the DMs, just like I do.
Well, I appreciate it, bro. No, I really do appreciate that a lot. And all the work that I put in every day for 12 hours, it means that it does something at least for at least one person. Um, and then outside of just like, obviously it'd be great to get more people in the program, but outside of that, just for like your personal advice to somebody, like in terms of like how they're feeling and what they should do, besides obviously, I think everybody should invest no matter what level you're at and somebody that can teach you get to the next level. What else would you tell them in terms of like advice? Like, number one is invest in yourself, whether it's me or somebody else. Um, what would be like maybe a couple more things
Education.
that you would tell them?
Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt about education. We cannot like stress that enough. Like if anybody is in this channel and watching you and me and anything, like they already believe in education. If you're on YouTube, you believe in education, but you have to pay attention. Just keep that in mind. And the second would be it's okay to feel things. Feelings are not bad, Feel the fear, feel the sadness, feel the lowness, feel the failure, whatever it is you can feel, but don't let that affect you taking the next step and taking the actions to get closer to the thing or the goal that you've put for yourself and for your business.
I love it, bro. Well, dude, thanks for coming on. I think people get a ton of value out of this. If you guys want to check him out, we'll link his Instagram down below. He's got some
Thank
killer
you.
content. And dude, I just really appreciate you. I'm looking forward to working with you for another 6 months or whatever it is. I don't know. I just think it's really cool to have a relationship with people that actually take action. Like we were just talking about the other day. It's fun. It's fun to coach people who actually listen and go implement and get results. So
Trust me, I know.